You can read that place if you go home. We are slaves of Christ. See yourself as a slave, not just as a son or as a daughter, but as a slave. This was one important revelation the early church had that helped them in their walk with God. For example, let's see the book of Romans chapter 1 verse 1. See what Paul said concerning himself. If you're there, can you read? Romans 1 verse 1. We're going to read a lot of Bible today so that you will see and understand more what I'm trying to say. Yes.
Paul, a bondservant of Jesus Christ, called to be an apostle, separated the gospel of God.
Yes, thank you. You see, Paul said to himself, he was writing to the Roman Christians. Paul hasn't been to Rome before, but he was writing to them even before meeting them. He didn't introduce himself as a son of God. He didn't introduce himself as an apostle first. No. He didn't introduce himself as a friend of Jesus. No. This was a man that had face-to-face encounter with Jesus. But when he was writing, he said, Paul, a servant of Jesus Christ. In fact, this word there is a mistake. The original Greek used slave and not servant. Yes. The original Greek is God doulos. And when you translate it, it means slave. So Paul was saying, I am a slave of Jesus Christ. But when they were doing the translation, because of the word slave, that word in our world today has been abused. You remember the slave trade in the US and in the Western world. So because of that, they didn't want to use that word slave. They used servant instead. But that word is not complete there. Because as a servant, you can still want to do what please you. You can still find a way out. You can get a freedom as a servant. But as a slave, you can't do what you want. Amen. So we are slaves. Look also in Galatians 1 verse 10 and someone else in Philippians 1 verse 1. Still see what Paul said. 1 verse 10. Oh, Jesus. Where did you read? No. Yes. 1 verse 10. He said, if we please men. You still see there. He said, I am the slave. The original translation says slave. He said, if I should please men, I should not be the slave of Christ. Philippians 1 verse 1. See what he says there. Amen. Thank you. He said now he was writing in Philippians. He said Paul and Timothy, born servants, that is slaves of Jesus Christ. Amen. You may think it was only Paul that saw himself as slave. No, it was not only Paul. Even Peter. Peter who lived with Jesus for 3.5 years. Look at what Peter said in 2 Peter chapter 1 verse 1. 2 Peter Second Peter Can you read it again louder?
Simon Peter, a bond servant and apostle of Jesus Christ, to
Thank
those
you.
who have obtained like precious faith in us by the righteousness of our God and Savior Jesus Christ.
Wow, thank you. This is Simon Peter. He even mentioned his full name so that you will understand that he is the one speaking. The same Peter that denied Jesus 3 times. He said he's a born servant, a born slave of Jesus Christ. Amen.